You can come down.
Okay.
We're going live. We are live. So welcome back to POLIPODCAST. This is episode 10. I'm your host, Daniel Polidoro. And today, I have a special guest. I've known him for 17 years, going on 17 years. Robert Swinson. And we're here to talk about some Wrestlemania, night 1. But first of all, how is your quarantine going?
Oh Lord, I never thought in a million years it would go this crazy, but it did. We're surviving. I had to break out the cat food finally, and have to start eating on that. But we'll do this.
Oh, you're being serious?
No, hell
Okay.
no. I'm hoping. I was gonna go for a Survivor reference or at some point, maybe Castaway, but that's yeah.
Nice, man.
I think like the rest of the world, I'm going a little stir crazy, being stuck in the house all the time. But you'd think for a gamer like myself that it would be easier because what else could a gamer really want than be stuck inside all day and have an opportunity to play games? But then even they just like start losing their appeal after a while.
Can you? Is it possible to like lower your camera a little bit?
Like that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect. A little bit better, maybe. A little bit more.
Oh God. You're asking a lot for a guy with a really kind of jerry-rigged system.
All right, it's just your head now. I don't see you. You disappeared.
I disappeared.
So just like I don't know. Where's your camera at? Oh, there we go. See, right now it's just like your nose and up on your head. So you might want to, I don't know, readjust.
Oh.
It's all good. People can hear you.
Okay, well, I don't mind looking goofy on the internet. God knows I'm there anyway doing that, so.
But it's interesting that, we want free time, we want all this stuff, and then we get it, and then, unfortunately, it's like the unfortunate circumstances, but now we're, like, bored out of our minds.
Yeah, for true. I just, like I said, being alive during the Y2K thing, that it just didn't seem like it got this bad. And now it's just completely, the hysteria is far worse than I think anyone ever expected it to get.
Yeah. It's just crazy times. I'm thankful to still have a job.
Toilet paper. At least we have toilet paper.
Yeah. I'm thankful to still have a job, too. And, they've given us some incentives that sort of works as hazard pay, I guess. Unfortunately, we have to wear masks now, starting yesterday, which is really kind of an adjustment. It just didn't really fit my face that well, and then, I couldn't have my glasses on. It just was really awkward the whole day. I had to switch from, a bandana to a mask. So I had my mom make some, customized ones, so hopefully they'll fit better.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. I'm one of those people that have been out of work. I had left one job to go to another job, and unfortunately, this whole thing started right in the middle of my transition, and therefore, my new job was we've lost 70% of our business. We can't really afford to take any money on right now, but hopefully, this in another week or so, this whole kind of thing starts to blow over a little bit, and I can go find a job again.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. But on a lighter note, let's get into Wrestlemania.
Hell yeah, if you want to call that a lighter note.
I was supposed to be down there with you watching the show tonight, but
I know. We were supposed to have a big shindig. We do every year. You come down and I invite 10, 12 people over, and I cook and do all the good stuff, and we normally have a great big shindig every year, and yeah, I kind of miss doing that this year.
I did too. I was thinking, even this past week, I was like, do I come down there still? No, I can't, because of the stay-at-home order. I don't want to risk anything.
Yeah.
Plus, they're doing the show in front of no audience. It's a different WWE right now.
I have never seen anything quite like it, actually. I mean, obviously, there's a joke to be made about Vince McMahon being the greatest.
Just fix your camera. There we go. Okay.
There's the joke to be made that Vince McMahon is the biggest germaphobe on the planet. There's 100 stories out there about what happens if you sneeze around him or something. So that means I can never meet the guy in person. My sneezes are legendary. So
that is so true, dude. Because when I first met you in high school, I think you sneezed like 7 times in a row. And I kept saying bless you, bless you, bless you, and then I just started saying bless you times 7.
Yeah, it was just like most people just give up after a while. They're just that you can kind of tell how good people are by the number of bless yous they'll actually give you. But I get about 3 or 4 into it, and then all I hear is like, "Good God, are you done yet?" But yeah, I mean, Vince McMahon and the WWE. I kind of thought, honestly, when all this thing was going crazy because of how bad a germophobia really is, this would be one of the first things to happen. I kind of find it funny that it was one of the later things to kind of give up. I mean, the NBA and the NBA and the MLB gave up before Vince did, which I thought was funny. But as far as WrestleMania goes, I like that they're still kind of trying. They realize this is the biggest moment of the year. Not only this is like the biggest payday for the wrestlers of the year, this is the culmination of so many like storylines and stuff like that. So I kind of appreciate they're still giving the effort.
I do too. And I think they changed the camera angle too, so not showing like empty seats as much as they were on like Raw or SmackDown.
Oh, they took that from AEW. Like, oh yeah. There was a couple weeks of them showing like empty seats and stuff because that's where their hard camera is normally placed, is up against the crowd or whatever. And then AEW, like the first week of empty stuff, they shot up the ramp, and then like the next week, WWE Raw and SmackDown changed.
Wow, that's crazy! I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they took that right off AEW. So don't ever let them tell you WWE doesn't watch what they do.
They totally are watching.
Oh yeah. They're a threat now, and they're getting bigger. We'll see what happens in the future with them, but yeah.
So, what was kind of like your standout match for night one?
Ooh.
We'll start there if we have a standout.
I guess top. I'd have to go 3 on that one. The 3 top ones would be Lynch versus Baszler. The ladder match between Kofi, Jimmy, and John Morrison was great. And then Owens versus Rollins was another big standout. Like, even the announcers kind of mentioned it, that these guys were used to doing like smaller arena shows and or arenas that don't have very many people in them, so it kind of works to their advantage because they kind of know the landscape a little better. I think that was kind of one of the reasons it was a little better. Like, doesn't tell me why Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan could be a little better, or go a little longer for that matter, but other than that.
What's up? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Andy.
Morning,
Say
Dan.
hello to YouTube.
We're live to the internet. Yeah, we are live to the internet right now.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
What is this internet you speak of?
That's right.
Well, if I understand it right, like if we're like 2 clicks away from this podcast to being on porn somewhere. That's about my only understanding.
No, we're on YouTube.
Oh, that's right. We're on YouTube, so there's no porn. Okay, don't worry. You'll have to take off the ads and stuff. Or I don't know.
I was going to say.
No ads. It's just small production.
Dude, have faith. It'll get there. I believe in you.
I'm just happy we're live right now, whether it's shitty quality or not. I'm just glad we're out here doing this.
Yeah, this is a blast.
But yeah, I skipped around last night. I watched the Becky and Shayna, and then I watched the Undertaker Boneyard match, and then I started watching. I watched the intro of Gronk because I was curious. I was curious
Oh
how
god.
Gronk was going to. He was just Gronk. He was himself, I guess.
I just don't. As far as Gronk goes, it just seems so unnecessary for an empty arena to have a host. And even better than that, like, it was so hokey when Daniel Bryan comes out and starts doing his yes chants that
And there was nobody to say yes back, right?
Yeah, the only people doing it were Gronk and Mojo up in that stupid little perch going, yeah.
I watched a little bit with you, and with no crowd there, it just felt kind of awkward. Like, it felt like they were just rehearsing a match as opposed to actually doing a match.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. Well, I'm going to venture around the world to do some shopping done, and I'm going to stop by my pop's house to do something.
Stay safe.
Good to know.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, it is
I
kind
want
of
to say
like a rehearsal.
we don't come back.
Well, I hope he comes back.
As I said, if an old lady coughs on him, don't come back.
If anybody coughs on him.
Well, anyway. This is going to be a different kind of podcast for you, I'm sure. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's cool, man. Like I said, this is my first stream guest.
It's going to be eventful. I'm pretty sure at some point a cat will jump up and try to figure out what's going on here. And other than that,
I've had cats on other episodes. I don't know if you saw the one where Casey's cat. I awkwardly tried to move it off the table, and it ended up looking like I shoved it off the table. I'm not a cat guy,
apparently not. Okay. Good
It would have been a nice gif if we were more popular.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so back to Shayna versus Lynch. Yeah. That was the worst finish of the night for me.
Yeah.
All the other matches had good finishes to them. This one did not. I cannot for the life of me understand when she heard the 2 count why she didn't just let go of the fucking hold. I don't know if I can cut.
No,
I'm sorry, but I was saying that last night. Why don't you let go of the hold? Just you hear the 2 count, that was and I hate to use the F word, but that was the fakest way to end the match of the night. Owens jumping off the Wrestlemania sign through the table, throwing him in the ring, and having enough, spine power to do a Stone Cold Stunner. That was more believable than the fact that a freaking trained fighter wouldn't understand to let go of the hold so she could get out of the pin and then just beat her later.
Yeah, this is the second WrestleMania finish now for Becky that's been kind of awkward. Last year's 3-way was awkward.
Yeah, you could kind of blame injuries for that between the broken hand and different stuff like that. I could deal with that one better because that one was actually just, a good fight.
True.
This one, even though it was a competitive match and it looked good in a lot of spots, was just, it made no sense for it to end that way. We've seen that finish before, Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Joe had the clutch locked in on him, and Seth Rollins did his little skywalk thing up the turnbuckles and worked it, and pinned Joe that way. But at least he held his shoulders down. It looked like he should be pinned.
Right.
But Lynch is still clutching at her neck and stuff, and she's not putting anything on it, and it should have just been let it go, and then I don't know, give me a counter into something that looks like it should actually end the match. It would left a sour taste in my mouth. That's all.
Yeah, I can totally see that because it was a strong start, a strong middle. I felt like, and they were on to something. I'm surprised that Becky retained.
Me too. you set up Shayna to look like this absolute beast at Elimination Chamber because she eliminated everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The first woman in history to do that. And then she comes in and she's not smart enough to let go of her own damn hold when she's going to lose the match.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
make sense. Character-wise and everything like that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's partially because of everything going on that Becky did retain? I mean, I feel like it might be. Like they had a storyline that they just kind of changed a little bit.
I would be okay with that. Honestly, that they're hoping for a better blow-off at like SummerSlam or something. If Strowman hadn't won the Universal title, like, understand that with less than 24 hours build to the match, Braun Strowman went out there and had a 4-minute match with the Universal Champion and pinned him clean, 1, 2, 3.
Well, how did you feel? Let's go back to the pay-per-view before in Saudi Arabia where Goldberg won and beat The Fiend. How did you feel about that?
Like it was the dumbest decision of the year.
So, like, the Universal Championship's kind of been, I don't know, neglected in a way.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, there was, I think it was, I was watching Wrestle Talk. And they have this fantasy booking series where they were talking about, okay, so Roman Reigns pulls out of WrestleMania. And they were like, okay, so let's just leave Goldberg's opponent to be a mystery for WrestleMania, right?
Right.
Put him on night 2. Night 1, you have the WWE title match between McIntyre and Lesnar, right?
Right.
Where McIntyre goes over, wins the title, great. Come to night 2. First match of the night is Goldberg. He comes out, Universal title. He's like, well, my guy had to pull out, so I guess I'll just make this an open challenge, whoever wants to come and do it. Then have Lesnar come out and win the Universal title back.
Ooh.
That would have been amazing. Because then I could deal with that better than I could deal with the fact that with, again, less than 24 hours build. I mean, storylines at WrestleMania generally have months, weeks to kind of build the rivalry, the heat, the storyline, all of it. And then because of this whole pandemic, basically, that's the reason they gave the belt to Strowman. I mean, is because of the pandemic, because you lost the guy you wanted to give it to.
Definitely.
Now, I don't know if it's just Goldberg's contract was done at WrestleMania, and so they had to have him drop the title. Though, a small extension and just paying him a little more seems like better in hindsight right now. I don't know if we're, going to get a rematch or whatever, but that means it's going to be Reigns versus Strowman probably for the Universal title in the future, or The Fiend or something. And God almighty, we've seen Roman versus Strowman a lot, and they have good matches together, so at least it'll be a better title match in the end. But God almighty, it was so... Strowman's got the worst luck so far at Mania. I mean, his first one, he gets eliminated in the Battle Royal, Andre the Giant one. Second one, he wins the tag titles with a random kid.
Oh, yeah. Remember that.
One after that, he wins the Memorial Battle Royal, but it literally means nothing. And now this one, he wins the title because the other guy can't make the show. And it's just... this poor dude, for looking like the absolute monster that he does, is just... other than his face. Like, I don't know about that. This is my personal opinion, but Braun Strowman looks like a monster to me everywhere but his face. Like, his face looks like you scrunched it up on, like, Photoshop by just a little bit, just, like, brought normal human facial features and just, like, brought it in by, like, an inch. It's just, like, his eyes and his nose and his mouth, it's just, like, compacted in there, and I can't figure out. Every time I see him, he go, I laugh my butt off every time. Because I'm just like, that shouldn't come out of that small of a face hole. Like, I'm just not for that.
So you put Brock Lesnar's face on him, on Braun, then you'd be scared.
Yeah, that's definitely, like, more proportionate. But no, this one's just like...
I could see that. I could see that.
You will never look at Braun Strowman the same way again.
Thank you for that. I think Goldberg's contract's up, and I couldn't see him holding the title much longer. Like, he shouldn't even have had it to begin with. They were doing such a great build with Fiend, and then they took it all away with a couple spears.
No, in a god-awful jackhammer. For the life of me, I love Bill Goldberg, I really do, but the man can't hit the jackhammer anymore. Like, I don't know if, it's a nagging injury or whatever, but he just cannot do it the way he used to, and so it just doesn't look good. I mean, we've seen it with Taker, we've seen it with The Fiend, and I think he did another one in between those two. It just doesn't look good anymore.
I think, that... I can't think I was going to say. I forgot. I had something good. Oh, yeah. I think Vince really just wants a rating boost sometimes if he calls up the older people. Like, he calls up Taker. He calls up Goldberg. He calls up Cena. Hey, will you do a couple shows? Or do a pay-per-view? We need a ratings boost. Or something. He doesn't maybe say ratings boost directly, but he's like, hey, here's some money. And he sees a little ratings boost or something. Because, there's no reason to have Cena in the Fiend.
But the only problem with that is that he's not getting that. I mean, the ratings going into WrestleMania for, like, Raw and SmackDown were some of the lowest they've ever been in history. Because people are just like, they don't even want to watch WrestleMania, which is crazy to think about.
Well, I will say Raw and SmackDown have been kind of unwatchable due to the no audience, and then they just show, like, a replay of the WrestleMania.
Okay, I'll grant that too.
But before then, I recall that the ratings were going down because of AEW.
Yeah, they were,
and just the lack of creativity.
Yeah. There has to be some drastic changes in WWE in the very near future. Like, I don't know.
NXT is where it's at.
I don't know. NXT is in better shape than I think Raw and SmackDown
Definitely.
are. And, but, like, I don't know. Being a fan since, 94, 95, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I started really watching wrestling and paying attention when Stone Cold was really taking off, and he had The Rock and Mankind and stuff like that.
I wish I had been.
I saw the return of Shawn Michaels. That was probably one of my favorite moments in wrestling history.
I would have just loved to have seen the Flair and Michaels, that last match for Flair. I just would have loved to see that live.
Yeah. But that is just like... So, I guess the trick is like... Undertaker, to me, was almost an afterthought in that era where you had Stone Cold and The Rock and Mankind and Triple H and DX and all that stuff. Like, he was kind of an afterthought. He was the leader of the Ministry of Darkness. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I'll bring it back. That's I promise. He's the leader of the Ministry of Darkness. I think he wins the title once or twice, but it's generally always in a feud with Austin, The Rock. and there's always some kind of feud between those two that the title is always involved with. Skip ahead to the next generation. Taker reinvents himself. He's the American Badass. And he still takes a back seat to people like Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. There are a lot of people that, or John Cena, Batista eventually. There's a lot of things that take the precedent over what you would think Taker. I mean, I know he held the title and stuff like that, but it's just like he wasn't the main reason I watched wrestling. Mm-hmm. So now you come to this time in the where basically the biggest thing he had was the streak. That's why you watch WrestleMania. You watch to see what you watch to see the entrance. You watch to see if he does any cool, like, supernatural tricks. You watch to see him kick out of, 3 RKOs and then hit a tombstone to win it. But that's gone.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Lesnar's beat him. Reigns has beat him. Like, that mystique off of that is gone. So, you saying that you're pulling Taker in to make a pop, to get a ratings pop, to get a pop from the crowd, to get, whatever, just doesn't sit with me. Like, he's not the guy to do that. You need Stone Cold. You need The Rock if you really want. You need, Kurt Angle's done.
Yeah.
And the other guys are dead. But, like, you need something like that to really bring it back. If you really wanted, I guess that's the best way to put it. It's like if you really wanted to use an old superstar to, bring something, you have to use Stone Cold or Rock because you've gotten all the use. I think we've gotten all the use we can at Undertaker. Like, and last night proved that. Yeah. Last night absolutely proved that with that Boneyard match thing.
Yeah.
I hated everything about that match. It
went on too long, but I will say that the cinematic part actually helped Taker, I think, because if it was live, he wouldn't be able to move that well,
Oh, no. And I don't know if you caught that, but they were doing pretty good in keeping the whole mystique of the graveyard up and everything until they did this one camera angle where they came behind one of the tombstones, and you could see that it was painted wood.
Yeah.
I was like, you could have shot this better, Dan. You really. Anyway, so. This Boneyard match was the first WrestleMania match with Taker involved I hated. I want to say that right now. It's not because I'm a mega fan of AJ Styles, because I am. I'm a mega fan of AJ Styles. But, I want you to grasp this concept, okay? Mm-hmm. AJ Styles is almost honestly in some of the best summer wrestling on the planet. He is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Since he's kind of slowed down his acrobatic style and not doing as much as that, he's not getting hurt as much. He's doing better matches. Him plus the OC, so Carl Anderson and Gallows, plus 12 druids couldn't beat 50-something-year-old non-mythical Taker.
Yeah, because that's the thing too. He was the All-American Badass, right? In this video or this match.
Yeah, he wasn't even really the Undertaker. He was Mark Calloway, and for whatever reason, the best wrestler on the planet, his two very good tag team friends, and 12 random guys cannot beat that.
Who were those guys? Like grave diggers? Grave people?
They're supposed to be like Undertaker's acolytes or whatever from back in the day, but so he, like, again, Undertaker is not going to be around on next SmackDown, right? Undertaker's not going to be there, or next Raw, excuse me. He's not going to be there Monday night. You know who's going to be there? AJ Styles. And he's got to explain why him and 12 other guys couldn't beat him. And he's going to look like an absolute punk. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just no explanation why no logical explanation I can think of why The Undertaker or Mark Calloway won that match. Like, there's just nothing I got.
They had a beautiful send-off a couple of years ago for Taker. What year was that when he folded up his jacket and put his hat on the ring?
Oh, God. 33, 34, I think.
That was great.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was when beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania should have been like, okay, it's been done. We don't need to do that anymore. But still, around WrestleMania time, people are like, we need to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Why? 2 people already did it. It can be done. You have to hit like 9 finishers and concuss the dude, but that's about it.
Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God. So like I said, that was the first Undertaker match that I absolutely hated at WrestleMania. Like, there's just... And it's through no fault of either people, because, like you said, Undertaker looked good. Like,
he did. I think that was a tribute to the shots, the cuts, the taping of it.
It looked okay. AJ Styles needs to cut his hair because he spends way too much of his time like flipping his hair out of his face.
He used to rock it short, right? Back in Japan.
Oh yeah. When he started wrestling, he had very, very short hair. I mean, like shorter than mine. It's just...
I agree. It does hurt AJ's character. It doesn't make any sense on some levels, most levels. It was just kind of a waste of time.
Yeah. That's about the best way to describe it right there, is waste of time. I mean, on a 16 match card, and what's going to be started at 6 last night and went to about 9, so what's going to be another 6-7 hour show. It was just a waste of time.
Let's see, what else?
So, the ladder match, I want to bring that one up because that was probably one of my favorite ones of the night. Morrison and Kofi, and I think it's Jimmy Uso, right?
Yeah, Uso.
Okay. Damn, that was a good match. That was, I think, one of the safer ladder matches I've seen, which is kind of nice. Like, me and you, we saw Andrade and Ray do the ladder match in Wichita for the U.S. title.
I'm so glad we got to go do that, especially now that everything's gone down with the pandemic and everything. I'm so glad we went, dude.
Exactly. But we saw that live and in person. You saw them, like, almost kill each other. Like, and I think somebody was legitimately hurt at the end of that match. I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure it was Ray, and then it may have been Andrade because they had to write him off later.
Andrade had a couple wicked falls.
Oh, yeah. So, to see the ladder match done in a way that looked good, but actually kept everybody in good condition at the end of it, I was much happier with that. I think the word controlled car crash comes in mind. Like, I kind of like, I like the fact it was It had some good spots. Yeah. Everybody had their time to shine. And I think it ended the way it should have.
I need to go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. As far as the rest of the card goes, Elias versus Corbin was kind of a surprise. It went the appropriate amount of time. I think it ended the way it should have. It looked okay. Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn. Again, looked good. Cool finish with the Helluva Kick counter. Mm-hmm. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross win the titles. Unfortunately, those women's tag titles are just not as important as other titles yet. Like, they've bounced around a little bit. They just haven't had the time to really shine. Like, they haven't had a storyline to really make them as important as like one of the women's singles
it's
singles
still
title.
A new division in a sense, right? I mean, it's only been a year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing they did was put it on Bayley and Sasha because those were two of the most popular stars, and then they kind of took them off them really quickly. I think if Bayley and Sasha had kept those belts for a while and had a couple really good matches with them, they would be more important. But right now, it's just they are definitely the afterthought as far as titles go. They are the Cruiserweight title. They are the Hardcore title. Well, Cruiserweight title or maybe the European title. They are the afterthought.
Yeah. So how would you grade night one? What would you give
overall?
Yeah, overall.
Well, if you...
I can't really say because I haven't seen them all yet.
I was going to say 8 matches. I'm trying to think of them in order real quick, sorry.
It's the girls' tag match. I think then...
Bliss Cross.
Was it Corbin next?
I think so. Bliss Cross, Corbin. Oh, hell.
Zayn.
Zayn. The ladder match.
Becky.
Universal. Boneyard. Oh, hell. Of course there'd be one I'm forgetting.
Goldberg.
No, I said Universal. Can I don't know. I have him on my phone.
Let me see if I can pull it. I can get it.
I was going to say I don't want to like hit a button and like end my call or anything real quick. Sorry. I'm just not technologically oriented.
I mean, were you satisfied on some level? Like, was it better than you expected, considering everything?
Right up until the end, yeah. Like, oh man, that's about the best way I can think of to put it. Is like right up until the end, I was like, okay. There's been some whiffs here and there. I was pretty shocked about the Strowman thing. But not in a bad way. I mean, definitely he deserves something because he's had a pretty cool career so far. And when they mentioned that his first singles title was that Intercontinental title reign that lasted all of like 4 days, I was like, okay, yeah, give the dude, a break, give him the title, see what happens, let him have another good match with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns will win it back. Cool. I'm happy with all that. But then you get to the end, and I would say the show was at the A and B level, very high B, A level, and then you get to the end, and it's the match that I was excited about because again, I'm an AJ Styles fan.
It just sounds cool. Boneyard Brawl. It sounds cool.
Yeah. And in concept, it looked pretty good. Like I said, that was the camera and the editing. It looked pretty good. It was just when it was all said and done, I was just like, I felt defeated. I was just like, I felt like turning off my TV or turning on YouTube and watching AEW just so I could watch something that I've haven't seen before. Undertaker goes over because he's Undertaker. It's just unnecessary. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and it was just not the impression you should have left that the people wanted to see at the end of WrestleMania. So, again, probably B+, A show, right up into the end, and then it drops like a letter. So I'll give a C for the first night. Excuse me. A C for the first night, just because it dropped the ball on the go home into making me want to watch the next night.
So we had the kickoff show with Cesaro and Drew Bullock.
It was okay. I mean, it ended weird. And those two are really talented. Like, as far as undercard people go, they're very talented. I would have liked with this opportunity, giving them a little more time to kind of shine a little bit. But
and then it was Kabuki Warriors, Alexis Bliss, like we said, and then King Corbin, Elias, Raw Women's Championship, Becky, Shayna, Intercontinental Championship, Zayn and Bryan, and then it was SmackDown Tag Team Championship ladder match, and then it's 24/7 Championship.
Oh yeah, that was stupid as hell.
Oh, Gronk won?
Gronk won it for like...
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, Raleigh
Mojo
defeated R-Truth and Gronk.
Yeah.
So is he actually going to wrestle?
The theory is yes. Like he might do a tag team with Mojo Rawley. That was a lot like his tag team with Zack Ryder, where they actually do like... where they're hype, and it's like bringing the WWE to Jersey Shore.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Then we have Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins.
Jesus, how did I forget that one? Yeah, okay. That one was the example of what like Daniel Bryan Zayn could have been. Like those guys have all wrestled the indies. They've all done, lower crowd shows. They can all do crazy spots if they really want to. Like, that was the one where I think they really took advantage of everything that was going on.
I'll have to watch it, but I think it sounds like the storyline paid off too.
Yeah. Like, Seth Rollins originally just gives him the win, just like walks off and gets counted out or disqualified or something. And Kevin Owens gets in there, is like, no, hell with that. Come back here. I want to kick your ass more. And I wanted this to be a no DQ. Just start the match over. And then they go absolutely ape shit on each other with weapons, and it just looked good.
Awesome. Then the Universal Goldberg Strowman.
I wouldn't even mind if that was like I think honestly I'd have a higher grade if the main event and that one had switched places.
Or if they just end with Rollins and Owens. Or cut the last two, Goldberg and Undertaker.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to end on a title match or something, or a big marquee match is how you want to end the card. Honestly, it probably would have been better if they'd switched that, because after you watch AJ Styles get absolutely buried, excuse me, let's just say that now, in a literal and figurative sense, he got absolutely buried. Then you switch over to see Strowman win the title. You're like, okay, well, at least that's something good to give you a good taste in your mouth as you end. But no. Anyway.
So now tonight, we still have some great matches tonight.
Yeah.
We got McIntyre, Lesnar, Edge, Randy Orton.
I don't expect that one's going to go very long.
With Edge and Randy Orton.
I think that is probably going to be the best match of WrestleMania. I'm going to call that now. Okay. I'm going to say that's going to be the best one of this pay-per-view.
And then we've got Cena, Fiend,
I'm scared.
Firefly Funhouse match.
After I watched AJ versus Undertaker, I'm very, very scared.
Is that another pre-tape thing, probably?
I think so.
And then we've got NXT Women's Championship, Rhea and Charlotte. That's going to be good.
That's going to be great.
And then the
SmackDown title.
SmackDown Women's Championship, yep. That's an elimination match, looks like.
Oh, good. Well, that'll be good.
Yeah. And then the Raw tag
title.
Team, yep. Angel Garza, Austin Theory. And then Otis and Dolph Ziggler. Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley. And the kick off the show is Natalya and Liv Morgan. So we could have a solid night, too.
Like I said, I think Edge versus Randy Orton is going to steal the show. It's going to be the best match of the of the card.
I'm going to agree with you.
And
that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I think that's going to have a good build. I think that's had a great build to it, and I think those two are just damn good enough to tell the right story, and I'm looking forward to that.
I think Ripley and Flair might be up there too as one of the top ones.
They are definitely super talented. So I don't know. It's just you kind of look at the ramifications of who wins and who loses, right? Mm-hmm. Like, as far as Charlotte goes, if she wins and comes down to NXT to defend the title, like, she is so far above and beyond most of the talent of the NXT women's roster right now. Like, when she was down there originally, she had people she could bounce off of. She had Sasha, she had Becky, Bayley. Excuse me very much. I'm allergy issues.
The horsewomen.
I don't have
the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah, exactly. And then you had Asuka and just and Ember Moon and stuff like that. Like, there was people for her to really go up against, and it looked good. If Charlotte came to NXT right now, beyond like Rhea Ripley, there is just, and maybe like Bianca Belair and what's that new girl with the green hair, Shotzi Blackheart or something like that. Like,
well,
there are no.
Is Shayna still down there then, or is she now? Oh,
no, she's officially like Raw roster.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if she wins it, like, I just don't see what great matches she could have down there. I mean, she's going to make the other people look good, but she's not going to look as good in return. So I kind of hope Rhea Ripley wins this one because she gets the boon of beating Charlotte Flair and then is back down to make other people get up to that level.
Mm-hmm. I think Ripley will win. But then again, you know, has Charlotte had a WrestleMania victory?
That's what kind of scares me is after her loss last year, she's just so high up for like people in the company and like to other people that they may just give her the win here to kind of set the balance right.
Oh yeah, she's royalty when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, if Stone Cold Steve Austin had a son that, you know, was like 6'3" and like 260 pounds of pure muscle, he'd be a WWE champion. So, you know, you take the daughter of Ric Flair, who is just as good a worker as he is. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, she's just as good as he was as a worker. I mean, between selling and doing cool spots and, you know, being promo-wise, like she is just as good as he was. And I think that's amazing because the women really didn't have somebody like a Ric Flair. They had Trish Stratus, they had Lita, they had, you know, they had
China.
Oh, China. You had these women that were great wrestlers, but I always thought that Trish and Lita and China kind of lacked in the promo department, whereas you've got Charlotte, who is without a doubt a great wrestler, but her promos are good. Like her character work is great, and it's just like she's just so natural as a wrestler.
She really is.
So, yeah.
Well, man,
I think when it's all said and done, and I swear I'll get off the Charlotte train after this one, but like I think when it's all said and done, her career is over. Hopefully, nothing horrible happens. She has a long career, 10, 15-year career or whatever. She'll go down as probably the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
Oh yeah, she's already had the belt 11 times, 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, let's do it again tomorrow. We'll recap night 2.
Yes, absolutely. Can't wait. It's going to be great.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on, and I think this was a good episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think.
Oh yeah, real quick, what's your thoughts on Tom Brady?
Oh, going the Bucks, right? To me, it's a bit like LeBron going to the
Lakers.
No, one before that. No, after that.
Cavaliers.
In between. Yeah, it's like him going to the Cavs. Like,
how so?
I think. Well, because you've got this A-class player, excuse me, going to not an A-class team. Where the Bucks they're great. Don't get me wrong. I could never play on that kind of level or anything like that. But like, historically speaking, they're just not the team that you expect to go to the Super Bowl. But you put somebody like Tom Brady there, and maybe give him some support from some good wide receivers and a good. I don't know who they have as their running back or whatever. But give him some good support, like he had, like LeBron had Love and Kyrie Irving, and suddenly there's the potential that somebody that was not a threat becomes a threat. So somebody like Tom Brady, as much as I fucking hate the guy, it's the truth. He makes a team a threat just being on it, and if he has the right support, then the Buccaneers could go to the Super Bowl because of him.
Yeah, and hopefully we have a season.
So, good on him. I hope he does well. I hope nothing bad happens to the guy.
He left the Patriots, though?
I thought he retired before he ever went to another team, but then again, I thought Brett Favre would do the same thing, and then he went to the fucking Vikings. So,
and the Jets before that.
But that is a dark and horrible time we should never talk about.
You like Favre or Rodgers better?
Favre.
Yeah, definitely.
I started really paying attention to football because of Brett Favre. So, and again, I can't dump on them too bad because they're generally good people. Like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, they're good people. If you're one of those people that thinks Tom Brady's too full of himself, go watch Ted, the movie Ted 2.
I forgot about that cameo.
Okay, the man just, if you think he's too high of himself, go watch that, and you'll never see the guy the same way. He's just, like I said. So, anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to WrestleMania night. I'm hoping to have a better taste in my mouth as I leave it, and yeah, I'm hoping that Firefly Funhouse thing is much better than the Boneyard.
I'm going to catch up on the matches I missed last night, and then I'm going to watch tonight live. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about it.
Sounds good, brother.
Right, man.
I will talk to you.
Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too.